Hello friends, and we continue to study adjective clauses. And here again we have an exercise, and you see column A and column B, and it says use the adjective clauses with who or that in the definitions and match the sentences in column A with the sentences in column B to make a sentence. Complete sentence. Number one is done. A hammer is a tool which or that is used to pound nails. As instead of it here, we need to use that or which to make an adjective clause sentence. Now look at the rest of the sentences and then make complete sentences using who, that, or which. 2. A barometer is an instrument that measures air pressure. Barometre, hava basıncını ölçen bir alettir derken. 3. Plastic is a synthetic material that can be shaped and hardened to form many useful things. Yani şekil verilen ve sertleştirilen ne için? Birçok faydalı şeyin oluşturmak için. 4. An architect is someone who or that designs buildings. Someone is singular, so we need to use singular verb. 5. A puzzle is a problem that is difficult to solve. A puzzle is a problem that is yani çözmesi zor bir problem. 6. A vegetarian is a person who or that does not eat meat. 7. Steam is a gas that forms when water boils. Yani su kaynadığında oluşan bir gazdır. A turtle is an animal that has a hard shell and can live in water or on land. Shell biliyorsunuz kabuk anlamında. Sert kabuk. A hermit is a person who or that leaves society and lives completely alone. Şimdi burada bu şekilde işte hermit'in ne demek olduğunu da anlıyoruz. Ne demek? İşte hermit diyelim, Türkçe'ye çevireceğim. Toplumdan ayrılıp tamamen yalnız yaşayan kişidir. Hermit. Artık Türkçe karşılığını ne deriz? İşte yalnızı seven kimse. A pyramid is a structure that is square at the bottom and has 4 sides that come together in a point at the top. Yani tabanı dörtgen olan ve 4 kenarı olan ancak tepesinde birleşen, tepe kısmında tek bir noktası olan yapıdır derken. There is a note in here and it says in usage in daily usage or in usual usage for people who is preferred over that or favored over that, and for things that is preferred over which. Yani bu şu demek, normal kullanımda kişiler ya da şahıslar için who, that'e tercih ediliyor. Nesneler için ise that, which'e tercih ediliyor. Ancak bunları biliyorsunuz ortak kullanabiliriz. Yani that'i ortak kullanırız. For people we can use who, that, and things we use that and which. For both we can use that. Now for this exercise, please take your dictionary and a piece of paper and then complete the sentences. And there's an example in here. A telephone directory is a book that or which lists telephone numbers. And look at the rest of the sentences and then complete them, but when necessary, consult your dictionaries. But pause the video first, please. Okay, number one, a dictionary is a book that defines words. Yani kelimeleri tanımlayan kitaptır. A nurse is someone who takes care of sick people. Birds are creatures that can fly. Uçabilen yaratıklar. A key is a piece of metal that we use to open locks. A prisoner is a person who is in jail. Hapiste olan. A giraffe is an animal that has a very long neck. Or you can say a giraffe is an animal that lives in Africa. That's also true, as your answers could be different from mine. Photographers are people who take, be careful because plural should be plural, singular and singular, noun and verb. There is an agreement. İkisi arasında bir uyuşma olacak. Who take pictures with camera. A hero is a person who or whom many people admire. Because person here is in object position. An adjective is a word that modifies a noun. A friend is a person whom or who we can trust. And in English there is a proverb for friend. İngilizce'de bir atasözü var. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Yani gerçek dost kötü günde belli olur diye. Ya da biz ona ne deriz? İşte kara günde belli olur. İşte asıl friend, yani asıl arkadaş ihtiyaç duyduğun anda yanında oluyorsa o arkadaş. Yoksa sen iyiyken etrafında herkes arkadaşsa işte o biraz sıkıntılı olabilir. Here in this exercise, object pronouns in adjective clauses. It says cross out the incorrect pronouns in the adjective clauses or omit them, but I color them in number one. And number one, the books I bought, because here the books is in object position, not the subject position. So here I don't have to use after the books to define the books, I mean which or that. I can say just the books I bought, but here I don't have to repeat them again. Just what I'm gonna say, the books I bought at the bookstore were expensive. This is not necessary because here again should be repeated, repetition. No need, to use them in here. So we cross this out. Yani üzerini çizebiliyoruz bunun burada. Gerek kalmıyor çünkü burada zaten the books I bought derken işte aldığım kitaplar at the bookstore, kitapçıdan, be careful, plural and should be plural. were expensive. Now look at the rest of the sentences and then cross out the incorrect pronouns in adjective clauses. Because here, this part is the adjective clause. I bought at the bookstore. But here, you don't have to use this one. But here we use books. Pause the video and then do the rest of the exercise, please. Number 2. I like the shirt you wore to class. So we omit this one. Yani bunu atıyoruz buradan. Because here there's a short. I like the shirt you wore. Giydiğin gömleği. To class yesterday. Amanda Jones is a person I would like you to meet. As here is a person is in object position. That means Amanda Jones is a person whom I would like you to meet. Yani senin tanışmanı istediğim kişidir derken. The apartment we wanted to rent. The apartment, be careful. We wanted the apartment that or which. But apartment is in object position. The apartment we wanted to rent had 2 blocks. We omit this one. Bunu atıyoruz. My wife and I are really enjoying the TV set that we bought for ourselves last week. TV set. This is because adjective clause, so here we don't have to use it again. The woman you met at Aunt Martha's house. Here we omit her. We don't have to use. The woman you met at Aunt Martha's house is a pharmacist. Yani teyze Marta'nın evinde tanıştığın kadın. Anna has a cat that likes to catch birds. Here, because this is adjective clause, we don't have to use it again. The birds that Anna's cat catches, the birds, here, this is the adjective clause, are very frightened. Here, we don't have to use them. Yesterday, Anna rescued a bird that the cat had brought into the house. We don't have to use it in here. Burada it gene kullanmaya gerek kalmıyor. When she set it free, serbest bıraktığında, yani bird, it flew away quickly. Hızlıca uçup gitti. Now, in this exercise, fill in the blanks using who, whom, which, that, or nothing. Number 1, actually not number 1, there's an example. The manager who or that fired Tom. Be careful because the verb belongs to this person. Is a difficult person to work for. Yani Tom'u işten çıkaran müdür. Yani onun için çalışılması zor bir kişidir derken. Now look at the rest of the sentences and then complete them using who, whom, which, that, or nothing. Number 1, the box, that, or which, or nothing. I mailed. As remember, the verb here does not belong to the box. It belongs to somebody else. So that means the box is in object position. If it is in object position, that's the thing. I can use that or which or nothing. Yani ya bunu kullanacağım ya bunu ya da hiçbir şey kullanmayabilirim. I mailed to my sister was heavy. The box was heavy. This is the adjective clause. The people that or who sat in the stadium, because the verb here belongs to this. So people here is in subject position. in the stadium cheered for the home team. Yani kendi takımlarını alkışladılar. Ya da işte onlara böyle heyecana getirme ya da neşelendirme, tezahürat, daha doğrusu bizdeki tezahürat dediğimiz. 3. The calendar that or which hangs in Paul's office. Because the verb belongs to the calendar. So calendar is in subject position. So I need to use either that or which. Has picture of wildlife. The teenagers counted the money that or which or nothing they earned. Earned, make money. That means earn belong to they. That means the teenagers. So the money here is in object position. Money burada obje konumunda. Ya bunu ya bunu ya da hiçbir şeyi kullanmayabilirim. At the car wash. Yani nedir? İşte araba yıkayarak kazandıkları çocukların ve yetişkinler araba yıkayarak kazandıkları parayı saydılar derken. The people that who or nothing my brother called. The verb belongs to my brother. So people is in object position. Yani kardeşimin aradığı insanlar. Didn't answer their phone. This is adjective clause. The tree branch that or which was laying in the street. Laying belongs to the tree branch. Was a hazard to motorists. Dangerous means was a hazard to motorists. Yani motosikletlere karşı onlara göre bir hatta tehlike oluşturuyordu. Now, in this exercise, identifying adjective clauses, says underline the adjective clause and circle the noun it modifies. But number one, if you can just circle it, yani yuvarlak için arabilirsiniz. But here, it's been colored. Burada renklendirilmiş. So I lost the scarf I borrowed from my roommate. I borrowed is the adjective clause and it modifies scarf. Now look at the sentences and then underline the adjective clause and then circle the noun it modifies. Because this is the noun, this is the adjective clause, so this one modifies this noun. But pause the video please, and then you can check your answers later. Okay, number 2. The food we ate at the sidewalk cafe. We ate at the sidewalk cafe is the adjective clause and the food is the noun because this modifies the food. Yani sidewalk kafede yediğimiz yemek. A storekeeper is a person who owns or operates a store. Who owns or operates a store is adjective clause and this modifies person. Yani storekeeper kimdir? İşte bir kişidir. Nedir? Bir mağazaya sahip olan ya da işleten kişiye storekeeper yani mağaza sahibi. The bus I take to school every morning. I take to school every morning is the adjective clause and this modifies the bus. Is usually very crowded. Pizza that is sold by the piece. That is sold by the piece is adjective clause and this modifies pizza. Yani dilim olarak satılan pizza is a popular lunch in many cities and towns throughout the world. Dünya genelinde birçok şehir ya da kasabalarda gözde öğlen yemeği menüsü de diyebiliriz. 200 years ago, people on ships and in coastal towns greatly feared, scared, korktu, korkuyordu. Pardon, korkuttu daha doğrusu. Pirates, feared the pirates, who sailed the South China Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. Who sailed the South China Sea and the Gulf of Thailand is the adjective clause, and this modifies pirates, korsanları derken. İşte nerede? İşte Güney Çin denizinde ve Tayland körfezinde gemiyle seyahat eden. The Earth receives less than 1/1000th of the enormous amount of heat the sun produces. The sun produces is the adjective clause, and this modifies the heat. Yani güneşin ürettiği ısının dünya milyarda birinden daha azını alıyor. Dünyanın aldığı ısı. The rest of the sun's energy disappears into outer space. İşte geri kalanı da uzayda yok olup gidiyor. Ama doğru değil, bilmiyorum. Piranhas are dangerous fish that can tear the flesh of an animal as large as a horse in a few minutes. That can tear the flesh off an animal as large as a horse in a few minutes. This is the adjective clause, and this modifies fish. Yani piranhalar tehlikeli balıklardır. Remember, fish, singular and plural are the same. Bunun tekil ve çoğulu aynıydı. O nasıl balıklar? That can tear the flesh off an animal. Bir hayvanın yani derisini, etini böyle parçalayabilen. Ama nasıl bir hayvan? At kadar büyüklüğündeki bir hayvanın hemen birkaç dakika içerisinde bütün böyle o flesh dedi etini böyle parça parça edebilen hayvanlar. The heart of education is in a culture's literature. Eğitimin kalbi bir kültürün edebiyatındadır diyor. People who read. Who read is the adjective clause, and this modifies the people. People who read gain not only knowledge. Yani okuyan insanlar sadece bilgi elde etmez, but also pleasure. Aynı zamanda zevk tadarlar. A person who does not read. Who does not read is the adjective clause. This modifies a person. The person. A person who does not read is no better off than a person who cannot read. Yani okumayan insan, yani okumasını bilip de okumayan insan okuyamayan insandan daha da iyi değildir. Yani okumasını bilmiyor. Ha biliyor okumuyor, ha da bilmeyerek okuyor. İkisini aynı kefeye koyuyor. Cigar waxwings are gray brown birds. This is kind of bird. Cedar wings are gray brown birds that live in most parts of North America. This is adjective clause, and this modifies birds. If you see a crested bird that is a little larger than a sparrow and has a band of yellow across the end of its tail, this part is adjective clause, and this part modifies the bird. So this is adjective clause, and this modifies bird. It may be a cedar waxing. Cedar waxing, if you see a crested bird, yani taraklı bir kuş, that is a little larger than a sparrow. Bir serçeden biraz daha büyük. And has a band of yellow, sarı bir şeridi var. Nerede? Across the end of its tail. Kuyruğunun son kısmında. It may be cedar waxing. İşte bu cedar waxing kuşu olabilir. Now, everyday English. Şimdi günlük İngilizce'de bir kesit. Tom and Tim are talking. My elder brother is always in demand at family gatherings. Yani aile toplantılarında kardeşim sürekli talep edilen biridir. Büyük kardeşim. Why? Is he a good singer? No, he plays the violin really well and play any music. I can play the violin, but I couldn't do that. Yani ben de keman çalabilirim ancak bunu yapamam. How does he do that? He sight reads really well. What does this mean? That means if you sight read well, that means you play or sing a music from a piece of paper or the sheet of paper the first time you see it. Yani notaları daha ilk gördüğünüzde nota üzerinde müziği çalıp ya da o müziği söyleyebiliyorsanız işte bu sight read deniyor buna. Hemen görür görmez notaları okuyorsunuz. Önceden bir alıştırma yapmadan. Yani without making any practice. And you haven't made any practice before. The first time you see it and then either you play the music or sing it. Ya işte notalara göre onu çalıyorsunuz bir müzik aletiyle ya da hemen söylemeye başlıyorsunuz şarkı olarak. He must be skillful. Maharetli olmalı. That's so great. Bu çok iyi. Okay, friends, and we haven't finished the adjective clauses, and then we'll continue maybe in the following one or two more courses. And see you next time.